Welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Warhammer 40,000 balanced dataslate. So Games Workshop dropped a brand new balanced dataslate on us, but before we get going with that, remember if you're new to the channel to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and warcry content as well. So let's take a look at some of the changes here and see what this article has to say. It's been 3 months since the last balanced dataslate for Warhammer 40,000. Since then, there have been 2 new codexes, Custodes and Genestealer cults, and a whole new season of Warhammer 40,000 focusing on Warzone Necromunda. We also got Chapter Approved 2022, which brings a host of changes to the game, including a bevy of points changes summarized here. But the designers aren't done, and now it's time for the next installment of the balanced dataslate. This is a quarterly free download from the Warhammer 40,000 design team, which rounds up balance changes to the game, stays fun, fair, and competitive. This edition of the dataslate contains simple-to-understand updates to a handful of Drukhari outlier units in Warhammer 40,000, making it a far better play experience for all. It's much shorter than the last dataslate, though no less vital. Most of the balance changes from the previous round remain, which is good news for Necrons and the Le Mans Rust battle tank. So we can just jump over here and take a look at that. Alright, so this one is only one page, so pretty quick and easy to take a look at. This is the balanced dataslate for Q1 of 2022. So universal match play rule: when mustering your army for a match play game, it cannot include more than 1 aircraft model if you are playing a combat patrol. Incursion size games: more than 2 aircraft models if you are playing a strike force size game, or more than 3 aircraft models if you are playing an onslaught size game. So the aircraft are limited based on the size of the game you play to 1, 2, or 3. Next we have the Astra Militarum changes. The save characteristic of the Astra Militarum Le Mans Rust is 2+. When using tank order abilities of a regiment tank commander model, you can select one friendly regiment vehicle unit, excluding Titanic units, within 6 inches of this regiment tank commander model, instead of selecting a regiment Le Mans Rust unit. So basically it lets your tank commander use its orders ability on any vehicle that is not Titanic from the same regiment keyword, not just a Le Mans Rust. Each time a regiment unit with the voice of command ability issues one of the following orders to a regiment infantry unit, that same order can be issued to one or more other friendly regiment infantry units, excluding officer units, that are within 6 inches of the unit that order was originally issued to. Take aim, first rank fire, second rank fire, bring it down, forwards for the Emperor, get back in the fight, and fix bayonets. So this one allows your voice of command ability to basically be passed on to a second infantry unit. The Chaos Space Marines have changed the Death of the False Emperor ability to read: each time a model with this ability makes a melee attack, a hit roll of 6+ scores 1 additional hit. For Drukhari, we have removed the core keyword from the keyword section of the following datasheets. So if you are a Talos or Kronos, you have lost the core keyword and it is no longer applicable to you. And then also change the Artists of the Flesh obsession to read: each time an attack is allocated to a model with this obsession, excluding a vehicle model, unless the attack has a strength characteristic of 8 or more, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of the attack to a minimum of 1. So the Artists of the Flesh obsession previously would reduce the damage by 1 for attacks, and now it still reduced it by 1 unless the attack has a strength characteristic of 8 or more, in which case it does not apply. And note the obsession remains all-consuming. And then next we have for Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights: all vehicle models with the Imperial Knight or Chaos Knight faction keyword gain the following ability: Towering Foe. This model counts as 5 models when determining control of an objective marker. If the model has the Titanic keyword, it instead counts as 10 models when determining control of an objective marker. So our smaller knights will now be 5 models when determining control, and the larger Titanic knights will be 10 models for determining control. And this is a useful ability. I used to previously take this as a trait on my knights, so the fact that this is available now just for everyone is a very nice buff and some well-needed help for the knights. If every model from your army has either the Chaos Knight or Imperial Knight faction keyword, excluding agents of the Imperium and unaligned units, then all Armiger class and War Dog models from your army gain the Objective Secure ability. See the Warhammer 40,000 core book. So if everybody in your army is either Chaos Knight or Imperial Knight, with the exception of agents of the Imperium, or underlined units. Then all your armiger and war dog models gain objective secured. So now your armigers and war dogs will be 5 models each for determining control of the objective, and they will be objective secured as well. So that is a decent little buff. I would have rather seen all knights be objective secured. I really think that they need some kind of buffs here, especially as the guns get more and more powerful and start ignoring invulnerable saves and things like that. It's going to be tough to take knights. So Necrons, add the core keyword to the keyword section of the following datasheet: Canoptic Acanthrites, see Imperial Armor Compendium, so that's Forge World. Canoptic Reanimator, Canoptic Race, Flayed Ones, Locust Destroyers, Locust Heavy Destroyers, Ophidian Destroyers, Scorpic Destroyers, and Triarch Praetorians. So we see that basically the core keyword has been passed along to a substantial portion of the Necron force, as it should be. And then for orcs, when mustering an orcs army, it cannot include more than one of each of the following units. So these are all the wagons and buggies, and dragstas and whatnot. When it says you cannot include more than one of each of the following units in your army, you can still have multiples inside of the unit. So you could have like the 1 to 3 still, but you can only have one selection from the army. So this applies to the Boomdaka Snaz wagons, the custom Boosta Blastas, the Megatrak Scrapjets, the Rocket Truck Squig Buggies, and the Shock Drunk Dragstas. So now you could still have, say, 3 of one of those in your army, but they would all be a single unit. You can no longer take multiple units of one in your army. So it does not restrict completely, but restricts the amount of separate units. So you can't do buggy spam. So that is actually it for the balanced status slate. Not a ton here. There is also an FAQ section and errata for the 40k rulebook and all the factions as well. That is quite in-depth. I may do a follow-up video on some of that, or at least the core book, but there is a ton to see there. So it's a little excessive for this video here. So that is our balanced status slate for Q1 of 2022. Not a ton of big changes there, but we may find that some of those changes might affect your army positively or negatively. I think overall the only real negative one was to the Drukhari. The Air Force thing was already in play. A lot of the other stuff was already in play, and then most of these are overall just minor buffs to your army as well. The orc thing was already in play as well. So let me know if you liked the video today, how you feel about these rules and changes here. Does this make the game more balanced? Do you feel like there needs to be a little more done against AdMech after winning the LVO, or perhaps Adeptus Custodes? Do you think it's a little excessive to nerf the Drukhari after they basically didn't make it into the winning table? Let me know what you think. I'm curious always of people's opinions. I think overall that these are pretty fairly done rules or adjustments, and if one of them seems over the top, maybe just because your army is a little too geared in that direction, you may have to just adapt to the times. So well, that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. This is our balanced status slate Q1 2022. If you like this kind of content, make sure you like and subscribe, share it with your friends for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and warcry content as well. Everything from reactions, reviews, and news for our tabletop games to all kinds of customizations, conversions, painting tutorials, and of course we are a commission-based studio, so we show off our commissions as they leave the studio. But that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.